Hello, this is Demonic Eye Gamer here to show you a quick look at the Active Aggression Reboot Edition beta. First, you'll notice that the menu is running at low frame rates. It's probably because they were focusing on gameplay versus their menu. But it's really hard to move around in the selection. It takes a couple of seconds to click on something. Alright, now I'm going to start off a match with a easy US Army faction. I really just want to show off the update to the Reboot Edition beta to show off the gameplay. Very easy. Make sure the resources are on high. Custom start, and we're gonna launch. The first thing you'll notice is that the system is now on a single resource system. It uses an oil refinery and it uses an extractor, which currently is already built. So let's get to it with the refinery. There we go. And we're gonna build some M993s. Now, distance of your refinery is important because if it's too close, you'll get a traffic jam situation. Let's get some power going. We do not have enough for a barracks. So that's one of the things that is an issue with the current game, is generating resources is really slow. So it slows down the gameplay. So we're going to try to focus on possibly getting more resources so we can quickly build our base, and I could show you off more units. Alright, let's go try to take that bank. We need to get this barracks built. Keep an eye on the resources. It's currently generating at a really slow rate, yet I got a decent amount of the M993s built. Alright, let's get the barracks going. Alright, there's the other oil resource. Alright, barracks is done building. Let's get some units. And let's go take that bank. Alright, now if you notice the unit size, the units are a lot bigger. They increase the scale of the units, and it almost doesn't look right. Let's compare it to this tractor. Alright, we're going to tell all 3 units to go to the tractor. And as you can see, as they approach the tractor, they are towering over the tractor. I don't know why that they increase the size of the units, but to me, there doesn't make any sense. It also affects the running animation. If you look at the running animation, it doesn't quite look right. Also, they're towering over this modified Abrams, which builds. Alright, we got the bank. Alright, let's get a machine gun nest. And this is where you see me constructing, without an extractor already built, the refinery and the extractor. There we go. Also in the beta, there's a couple issues when building. Sometimes will go to build a building and you'll knock down a tree and it will not build the building. Or sometimes I've had issues where units will stop moving for some reason. They won't react. They will react to enemies attacking them, but they will not move from their position. Also, fobs are no longer a thing in the reboot edition. You used to be able to place like mini fobs in areas, and they would hold resources and allow you to branch off them, almost like secondary bases. Let's build a couple more M993s. Get a machine gun's nest going. And again, we are low on resources, and everything the US has is pretty expensive. We'll get a second power generator going. Always need power. Alright, as you can see right here, there is a traffic jam at my extractor, and they're trying to either push each other away or they'll just clip right through the other M993. This is something I believe they fixed in the regular Active Aggression, but they need to fix it for the beta. Because you can't, if you don't have your refinery further enough away, then you'll get traffic jams where they're pushing each other around and you gotta sell some off. We could barely afford an armory. Can't upgrade to DEFCON 2. We could do breach training. I do not think I want to do that. Has a very much war game feel with the units, recognizing that there's a road there and they will use the road as appropriate. It's one of the things that I liked about this game, that it maintained that somewhat realism to it. Alright, let's sell some vehicles off. And they're pushing each other around like spoiled children. Okay, let's see if we can build anything. We have 11,000. We're gonna upgrade to DEFCON 2. And what else are we gonna build? Could build a light vehicles bay. But instead we're gonna build a hospital. The ACCE is one of the ugliest vehicles I've ever seen. Personally, I think they should have used either the MRAP, the Bradley, or the Mat V, which the Mat V and the MRAP were both used to replace the Humvee in modern times. So those are the new Humvee replacements. Alright, so now that we're generating resources, because we have 3 locations of income, we have the refinery and we have the bank, we can actually start building. And as you notice, you can pretty much build everywhere. You're not limited to just around your buildings. This is something that they changed from the regular Active Aggression, which the regular Active Aggression you could only build in the zones near your buildings, and you were limited to those white squares. Alright, we lost power. Let's upgrade the machine gun nest. Let's upgrade the other machine gun nest. Okay. There we go. Let's get a power plant going. Give us a boost in energy. I like how the building construction looks very much like how it did in Generals. This game has a little bit more of a Generals feel, which is, if you listen to what the developers said, this game was created in response to Generals 2, Command & Conquer Generals 2 being cancelled. So they really liked that game and they wanted to see a spiritual successor, so they used their act of series to do that. The first one would be an act of war. This one is act of aggression. Alright, still got a traffic jam near the oil refinery. Let's get some helos up. The helicopters in this game are probably one of the worst parts of the game. They don't feel realistic. It seems like the developers didn't know much about the reference material that they're referencing for these helicopters. Let's get a heavy vehicles bay so we can get some tanks. Let's get a small scout chopper. And let's see if we can do some upgrades. And we can't. We only have 2,160. Alright, as you can see, so far the scout helicopter probably has some of the better physics with it. But overall, it performs really wonky. It seems like the pilots, who's ever piloting the aircraft, just got their license and barely learned how to fly a helicopter. It almost crashes doing a nosedive. Alright, let's go scout this bank. They haven't taken the bank yet, so that's probably going to be our next objective, is to get more income, because income is very important now. As much as it was before you had 3 different resources which would randomly generate every time you played a map, and then you would have to find those resources, and it kind of made it a little bit easier to acquire some units versus others. And depending on who you played, some factions, the Chimera or the cartels, would use more of one resource versus the other. Alright, let's build an Osprey and an attack chopper. Let's get some artillery. Now we can start doing some upgrades. Alright, look at the Osprey. It has a hard time balancing. It looks like it just came off the line, and the pilot also just got its license. It's a little bit more stable right now, but when I click it to go forward, it takes a huge dip. Now, the Osprey was supposed to be a fast and quick option for the military, so they can get in, get out. It's supposed to be a fast aircraft and not tip so much. It has huge flares up and down. As you can see in the game, it's reflected as a slow, heavy vehicle. And then it takes big flares to slow down. Through the gameplay, you'll see that I kind of test out the Osprey to see what it can and cannot do and how it behaves. It will also clip through the It'll clip to the ground, almost doing a backflip. I've been trying really hard in a couple of the games to get it to do a backflip. I've only got it to do it once. It did like a rollover and then it flipped backwards and then refixed itself. Alright, it's slowing down. And here's the ACCE. Look how ugly it looks. I got out of the military in 2013, and I do not remember seeing this vehicle. It is an ugly vehicle. It just doesn't make sense. It has a whole bunch of windows. If it's an armored vehicle, it would not have so many windows. The Humvee in this game is more armored than that little vehicle. Yet it's supposed to carry a lot more troops, which the MRAP and the MAT-V do carry a decent amount of troops. I believe the MAT-V can carry about 6, and the MRAP, the largest form of the MRAP, can carry about 8. So it makes more sense to use those since they're going with a modern ideal. But overall, the modeling though, it looks almost like a limo for a vehicle. It just looks horrible. Not one of my favorite. The Abrams looks fine. All the other vehicles look fine, even though some of them are a bit older, like the Humvee. Alright, let's get an air control. Bombers and fighters currently, they work as a single use. So you select on the target and you send them to their target. They bomb the target and then they leave. They are no longer do a patrol in an area. As you can see, all the helicopters do have issues with movement. Not very realistic. Facing upward like you're trying to slow down, but traveling across land. This kind of takes you out of the experience and just ruins, the immersion of the game. And here we go, the crazy movements of the Osprey, and it clips to the ground and it moves up and readjusts itself. We're surprising because in a previous game the enemy sent a whole bunch of fighters after me and it was clipping into the side of the bank and killing the fighter, which the helicopters, so far they try to dodge that, or every time I've sent units they try to avoid the building. I've only had this happen in one game. I don't think it's a game breaking bug, but they do need to look into that. Alright, getting more oil. Now we're generating a decent amount of income with 18,000. Trying to do a backflip with the Osprey. It's not working. But again, if you look at the movements just, they need to be severely tweaked. The Osprey shouldn't be flopping around like that. Here's a fighter. They've increased the speed of the fighter jet, and it moves so much better now. It definitely feels more realistic. Alright, let's do some more upgrades. Alright, that's all for this video. I just want to show what it's like. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like this video and want to see more like this. Also, in the comment section, I would like to hear what you think of the beta so far. What's your pros and cons? So let me know.